Thank you, Craig, for asking me to take on the life hack. And I always enjoy when I get to come to BACN and see everybody. And there are, I guess, when I talk about remote meeting success, frankly, I think in-person meetings and remote meetings are very, very similar. There's just a few tweaks. So today I'll be talking about a tool called TPoint, and it is not copywritten. The person who shared it with me had been shared by another person who had been shared by another person. So it's very much like the Brett commercial. So you won't see any trademarks, and please feel free to take this and use it. And before we get into the agenda, we're thinking about remote meetings. What has become in the last year, almost a half, people have been getting the new phrase zoomed out, and there's something visual about that. And to be in an hour or 2 hour meeting and you're on stage, people don't eat anymore because you're so near the camera, where you used to be in a conference room and you could kind of sit back and everybody was eating. So what many people are doing, and some of you may have done that also, started implementing this also, people are having fewer meetings and shorter meetings. So what that means is when you're looking at who needs to be on that agenda, divide that hour or 2 hour meeting into a series of 15 and 20-minute meetings, and only invite the people, the attendees, who need to be a part of that meeting. And we've also, a word that's become very important in the last year and a half is inclusive. So somebody suggested inviting everybody who might be affiliated and identify those people on the agenda, what their time frame, what their roles are, and then the people who are sort of invited, they see they don't have a role, they're going to have to be quiet. And looking at the platforms, we've all, whether we kicking and screaming, we're getting really good at Zoom, Microsoft Teams. There's lots of tools out there. In the last 6 or 7 months, I've been asking people if they would like to have a phone call. And they say, "A what?" And I say, "An old-fashioned phone call." Oh, wait, backwards. And I would say probably 3/4 of the people, their response is, "Please, can we?" And what I've discovered is it's a more intimate call. And I know in the business world, we want to be careful about intimate, but people are not on stage. You can think about things and you just are listening perhaps a little bit harder and not focusing on, do I have spinach in my tea? Because all of a sudden we're seeing ourselves. And that's what's, key, is to start to rethink those remote meetings. And what some people have taken remote meetings to be is, let's just be ad hoc. Let's just get together. Well, agendas and sending those agendas in advance have become even more important. And the reason for that comes back to TPoint. TPoint is an acronym, and the first word is thank. How many of us remember to thank people? If it's a weekly meeting and you're the manager and these are all the people who work for you, you still need to thank them for their time and thank them for being prepared and thank them for their input and engagement. Because we all seem, since we're always on video calls now, we don't have as much time to do our work as we want. I know I end up being on some days 6 to 7 hours, and then my real work doesn't happen until maybe 6 at night. So you want to let people know that they're appreciated, and then they do want to participate and participate constructively. What's truly important is the purpose, so that you can be focused and not be like that's, what is it? The squirrel, shiny objects looking all over. You need to explain the purpose of this meeting is to plan a fundraiser. The purpose for this meeting is to create a marketing plan for Q2. And that way people come in, they know what work they have to perform and what information and resources they should bring to the meeting. And that goes right into the outline. Outline how much time. If it's a 20-minute meeting, you don't have any wiggle room. You might have 3 items you need to achieve. So you get in and you'll say, you know, welcome, check in 2 minutes. And then here's the first part. What is, you know, we have 3 dates. Let's choose the date. We have to find a location and who is going to be in charge of the marketing campaign committee. And give time, you know, time limits within that. I've gotten to know somebody from Australia in another networking group. We kind of collaborated together to learn how to balance out when the pandemic hit so quickly. And she uses the phrase hogs and logs. And that outline and time issues will help people. There are folks that hijack the meeting and need to have themselves heard. And then there's other people who might just sit in the corner. They're either shy or they're bored or they don't think they belong there. And so that way you can keep the hogs and logs pretty balanced out. The next part is input. As you're trying to manage those hogs and logs, think about how you're going to facilitate that meeting. That is really important. How are you going to get people engaged? And how are you going to record, document, encourage? And this is where strong facilitation skills come in. And then the last part, once you've had that meeting and you're moving, ready to go, it's, you know, 10:18 and you're supposed to end at 10:20. You need to have that transition. And what this means is you've had a list of agenda items, you've covered it all. What is each person's responsibility? What task does each person have to complete? And the date that they need to complete it by. And then that gives you already the information that you would send out summarizing your meeting notes. Thank you for participating. We were able to choose the date. We were able to get these things accomplished. Appreciate your input. And Craig, you're going to do this. Nancy, it's your job to do this. Yael, you're going to get this to me. Looking forward to our next meeting, you know, Tuesday, August, whatever it is, 5th at 10 a.m. And that's how you can use that agenda. And it's good for remote meetings, but can also be applied when we're meeting again in person. And so I'd like to thank you for your time. I appreciate the opportunity. And if you want to connect, I have my email here. I can put my LinkedIn into chat when we're done. You can never have too many friends. And I encourage everybody to connect and be able to share ideas and brainstorm. Thank you. Let me stop sharing.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated. And thanks for putting additional